What's up, you guys? I'm Alex from Modern Homemaker, and if you're new here, I like to share sewing, woodworking, and really all different kinds of tutorials on the DIY solutions that I found for my home. Today we're making an easier version of the foldable table from last week, this time to be used as a nightstand, but just by modifying the length of the legs. It could also serve as a side table, a TV tray, or even a foldable stool. As always, this project has been created with wood from a used pallet, but keep in mind that you can always purchase your own wood to recreate any of my projects. If you're more into sewing and fashion, don't despair, I've got new videos coming soon for you. And I'll be happy to take any requests on sewing or woodworking down in the comment section below. And with all of that being said, we can now jump into the tutorial. For this project, I use one of my favorite tricks when recycling pallets, that is slicing wider boards to make smaller strips of wood. This project was made with just 3 boards of 1 meter by 12 centimeters, cut in half both sideways and lengthwise. For this table to be able to stand straight, you'll need to round the corners. You can use a compass or a round object that's conveniently the exact size, like I did here, to make the marking. You'll need to trim the top and the bottom. Now it's time to make the hinges and the stoppers that will go attached to each side of the tabletop. Start by drawing 6 by 7 centimeter rectangles. You'll need 4 of these, and then mark the center on one of the edges, making sure that you have enough space all around to later place the wooden pole. I marked mine at 3 centimeters from the edge, which gave me about a full centimeter all around for everything to fit nicely. Now you'll need to drill holes on these 4 pieces using the markings we just did as a reference, and then rounding the edge on that same side, but just on 2 of those pieces. By all means, this is the easiest when they are still attached to the boards, but it might be a little bit harder to get perfect circles, so go slow and be careful. With the remaining pieces, you'll simply cut across the center of the circle on the same side that you rounded the edges and the other pieces. This will ensure the top is perfectly flat. To finish off the legs, we'll need to drill right through the center of 2 of the legs. These are going to be the inner legs, and then drill half of the way in the rest of the pieces on both edges and remaining circles, creating a notch to attach everything together later on. It is quite important that these 3 circles are equally apart from each other and that you leave enough space on the corners for the wooden pole to rotate seamlessly. Again, I made mine 3 centimeters apart from it. Again, I made mine 3 centimeters apart from the edge. To make the tabletop, I simply glued together a couple of boards and in the process tried to make sure they were as level as possible. It ended up measuring about 28 centimeters on all 4 sides. And once that is dry, I sanded everything very good with my electric sander, which usually takes me about an hour because pallet wood is dirty and disgusting most of the times. Here you can see a little before and after. And then I decided to add a wooden trim all around the tabletop to make it somewhat of a tray, and I'm actually very happy with it. I just feel like it adds a bit of something to what otherwise would be a very simple design, but you're free to do as you like, and if you're thinking of making this into a stool instead of a table, maybe skip this step and instead you could add some padding and cover it all up with some fabric of your choice. The final pieces are the very mentioned wooden poles that you'll need to trim to size. Starting with the ones on the outer legs, mine were about 21 centimeters, from which you'll need 3, and finalize with the inner poles that will be smaller, and that is better to measure once you try out the outer legs because they will depend on the thickness of your boards. So I actually assembled the legs like if they were ready to be glued together and then took the measurements for the inner poles. Now that we have all of the pieces, we can start assembling this table, and the first step will be to glue the hinges to the tabletop. And they'll go in pairs more towards the center of the tray to leave enough space for the legs. And I like to help myself by placing the wooden poles to ensure they are aligned and working. Next, we will glue the inner legs, the ones with the hole in the middle, to their wooden poles on each end and wait for those to dry.
Many unbearable hours later.
Now turn the tabletop upside down. Place the inner legs, now glued to each other, on the open hinge, and finally place the outer legs on the outside with the 3 leftover wooden poles, of course with glue on the notches and secure with clamps. These side tables are part of the guest bedroom / studio transformation that I'm working on right now, and since I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with the colors of the room, I just left it as it is, but I promise to make a tour once it's all nice and finished to show you the final result of this DIY. And that concludes another woodworking tutorial. If I had to rate this project, I'll say that it's definitely a beginner's project. So it would definitely be a good idea to start on something like this before attempting a larger project like the drafting table from last week. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more affordable DIYs, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!